Evening, everyone. Handle Star Saber here once again. Tonight we're going to do another roster review. In this case, a re-review. We're going to take another look at just Jcx70t. Wanted to know how things were progressing, any mod recommendations, things like that. So I'm just going to get into it more or less. Um, I was looking at your roster earlier today, and for the most part, I would say you're looking pretty solid. I mean, you've been clearly been putting a lot of effort into getting relics on a lot of your characters. I would say in some instances you have better relics than I do. Um, I don't have a B2 Super Battle Drive relics, for instance, and my clones definitely are. My 501st aren't nearly as far along as yours are. That does as all that stands, there's not a lot to criticize. I can tell you've been using your resources wisely. The question here for you, and that I have for you, is are you getting your mileage out of that arena team? I see you've been using Jcx70t for now. I can tell you've been trying to gear your 501st up in preparation for General Anakin Skywalker, which is great. I didn't quite get an answer to that question of how close you were to that seventh star. If you're very close, you may be able to continue on that, and maybe after this territory battles, you'll be able to turn it on. You'll be able to run with it. But if you're not that close to your General Skywalker, if you just hit 6 stars and you know it's going to be a few months, you may want to consider turning off your current arena squad as your approach, because I see you're currently at 69. I think I saw you at 60 earlier. Um, Now, that particular team with Jcx70t as a lead doesn't typically tend to breach uh, the very high arena rankings in the current meta. I haven't seen it be the case. Maybe I'm incorrect and you've gotten quite a bit higher and just fallen down half as far. But either way, that's kind of a real good time to ask the question. If you are close to your General Anakin Skywalker and you can probably have it done shortly, maybe just stay the course and finish it out and you'll be okay. But if not, it might be a good time to ask what arena team could get me farther. And you have some viable options here. It really depends how you decide to approach it. So I do see some viability in here. Some people actually still, believe it or not, get some mileage out of the Jedi Knight Revan. If you want to apply that towards um, getting higher score, it is doable. It may not get you the first every time. It is an option. Another option that works very well for me personally is building the Padme team. You have most of the Zetas. You're a little under geared on Padme herself, but a lot of that team, like your Ahsoka, your Jedi Anakin, your General Kenobi, they're all very well equipped here, so you're in pretty good standing to advance quite a ways. Your C3PO could use maybe another Zeta and some more gear, but all in all, you're not too bad. Again, this depends heavily on where your General Skywalker's at, and if you're real close to getting that um, Tier 7, Gear 12, and you try to get an Gear 13 and Relic as quickly as possible after that, because the difference between a beefy General Anakin Skywalker um and a Gear 11 character, there is no comparison. It's like night and day as far as what your performance is going to be. So I would take a look at your General Skywalker situation and determine if it makes sense to keep using the team you're using and pursuing that. Because if you're not that close, it could be several months before you unlock a 7 star in General Skywalker, and then probably at least another couple weeks beyond that where you have to gear him up to Gear 13 and have him be viable in the arena. That could be half a year before that becomes viable, and who knows what the meta is going to look like then. But again, if you're really close to that 7th star and you think you can unlock it here quickly after this territory battles, and you think you're on relatively good track to bring him up to relic level status, you'd do very well for yourself to keep on the 501st General Skywalker, because that is the meta, and it's the meta for a reason. I can't criticize you for putting some effort into that. I can tell you've been relicking your Bosk, which is good. That's very important. I see you've been working your ship arenas definitely climb a lot higher than your um, regular arena. In fact, you've got good roster diversity of relics. Now, the question is, how do you, at the arena level, do you want to reach the end goal? I mean, Malik and Darth Revan are always an option, but your Malik, of course, lacks few gear pieces to be that close to relic status, so it's going to be very hard to make that competitive. You do have Genealogy Brood Alpha at Relic 1, which is a good sign. So maybe you could, if you wanted to keep working a Malik team, Malik is still very viable, gets to the, at least in the top 10, if not the number one spot these days. And Genealogy Brood Alpha is a big component of that, as is your HK47 and your Bastila Sean Fallen. Now, of course, you're a few gear pieces shy of relicking anything there, so maybe that's not the best option for you at the present, but maybe it is. From a roster standpoint, if you're very close to General Anakin Skywalker, there's nothing wrong with um, flipping that 7-star, get that Gear 12 piece, take him up to Gear 13 as quickly as possible, and just playing at the meta level. If he's not in that situation, I would seriously consider revisiting Padme. That's probably the next closest thing that has a meta counter potential to take on your General Anakin Skywalkers, because what you can do with that team, and it's the one I use currently because my General Anakin Skywalker is only at 5-star. I'm still working on my Malik, in fact, to get to 7-star. So I'm a little behind the power curve as far as meta characters go. It's very difficult to speak to how some of these teams work. You're going to have to determine more for yourself what works for you. I will tell you the way to approach the Padme lineup, because that's the one I think that currently, until your General Skywalker is there, is probably your most viable option. So I see your Padme. Looks like you've been cracking her a little bit for speed. Speed is not real priority with Padme Amidala in a Padme team if you decide to use her. What you really want to look at is beefing up that health to max. You've got all health mods, which is good. If you use her, though, in earnest, making her slow and very healthy is the goal. As a for instance, to show you by comparison, when I equip I have 2 sets of mods for my Padme. She's a Relic 7. When I equip her regular set, not her fast set, which I use for General Anakin Skywalker, I will show you what health she operates at. So you can see she is at over 100,000 health and 60,000 protection. She is absurdly tanky the way you want her. And the way you get that is you literally put health on everything. I put a little speed there like you, but I did health there, health there, health there, defense here, because there's no health option, but you can see there's a lot of plus health there, and health there. Tons of health. Make her as beefy as possible. That's for your Malik teams. And for your General Anakin Skywalker teams, it's kind of a different situation. You want to have a speed set where she's faster than pretty much everything but 3PO on a team if you use that team. 3PO, you put some ridiculously speedy mods on, and you can see with mine, I put him over at 297, so he's ridiculously fast for 3PO. So that's how that works. For as far as your General Anakin, or not your General Anakin, your Jedi Knight Anakin Skywalker is concerned, I have to find you again real quickly. Got a long roster of folks, but I know you're to the bottom here. There we go. As far as your General Anakin's concerned, I can see you put a lot of crit damage not necessarily a bad way to go. It all depends what you run up against because um, as you run into things, if you get a lot of crit and crit damage, you did put speed on there, which is good. That's something I had to try to get in combination with the offense. You will need some plus offense here as well. If you don't have a lot of plus offense on your mods, he's just not going to do. He's not going to be as potent as you want. And speaking of potent, you'll need potency as well to some extent. Um, so try to bring in the potency, the plus offense, and those types of stats up if you want him to be viable on any level. If you go that route. Ahsoka, same basic thing. Lots of offense. I see you got offense there. Looks like some crit hit, crit damage. I think those are all good things. Again, I would look for trying to beef up the plus offense values. Like you have 65 offense here, that's a good start. Maybe you'll flip that to gold and get some more offense out of there. Good offense here with the 117. Yeah, pretty good. You've been doing a good job, I'd say, overall gearing Ahsoka. Just try to look for mods that can get you a lot of plus offense. If you do the Padme lineup, the big thing for her tends to be turnover. Ahsoka gets a lot of speed just from her unique, so you don't necessarily make her as fast. And usually she's one of the last ones to go. Padme is the very last one to go, and that's in a Malik lineup if you want to clear a lot of them buffs. Whereas General Anakin, you tend to make her second fastest, so she can cast her ability to clear all the buffs and or debuffs and start to build all that protection up, and then all that courage will build on Ahsoka, and Ahsoka can basically whack people for very high amounts of damage when she has a lot of courage. That's how it works with General Anakin Skywalker. As far as your Kenobi is concerned, it kind of depends the lineup you use him again as well. So you really want to kind of focus on, first of all, you got to make him tanky. That's a pretty obvious one. But you also want to make him faster, believe it or not. The one thing, you got some good speed on your mods, so I can see you've done a good job making them tanky. With some protection mods too, or defense mods. Yeah, so you've done a pretty good job making him fast. Right now you have him at 251. If you can get that higher and keep his tank characteristics similar, I see good things coming out of that. But I mean, you've done a pretty good job striking a balance. But you do want to get the ability to use his negotiator and lead the charge abilities more often, because that will quickly turn a lot of battles around, especially in a Malik fight. So making him fast should be a priority for you. C-3PO, if you do run him in a Padme lineup, you also want him to be extremely fast. And I keep jumping out, so I always have to keep coming back to you. But give me a sec here. I'll get there. So when I'm looking at your lineup again, and looking at what you've done with your 3PO, obviously got some gearing to do to make this work. I think you got the right type of idea with your set here. So you got some speed there. Good speed there. Good speed there. Decent speed, at least. Decent speed. You've got the right idea. You've made it fast, potent. Those are really the only things that help you. The more you can add, the merrier. As you can see, I had mine up to plus 145, because if you use it in a Padme lineup, you'll want him to go first. If you use a different lineup, obviously, your strategy will be based on that. I can only tell you what I know, and with a Padme, you want him to go first, and Kenobi second, really Jedi Anakin third, Ahsoka fourth, and Padme fifth in that lineup. But the other lineups, it just depends. So the one piece of advice, I think you've done a great job in beefing up your roster. In fact, I think you've advanced quite a lot more than I have in recent months, from where you are to where you were to where you are, compared to where I am to where I am now. And it looks like you've put some good effort into it. I don't want to take anything away from you. The only thing I can think of on your behalf is try to figure out how to get that arena score higher. If Shaq-T's not getting you there, you got to find something that works. And your two best bets out of those situations are either going to be, I would say, your Darth Revan, maybe your Jedi Revan if you think you work that route, or your Padme. One of those three options tend to be the best. Um, One thing I do see a lot of in Padme lineups is some people who don't have a very far along 3PO instead use Grandmaster Yoda. And since you're very close to Relic there, that may be a better option for you. I don't know. It all depends on a lot of variables that you know and I don't. So I would say just one of those things. If you don't have that General Skywalker almost ready to go out the gate next week or so, look towards what you can do for a new arena team, and the three best options are for you are the ones we discussed there. Now, another thing to keep in mind here, I see you've been working on your Han Solo and your Chewbacca. There's some very good instructional videos about how to use Relic up Commander Luke teams to overcome even the Tier 7 General Skywalker teams. So that may not be much help in the way of taking out your Malaks, but if you can get your Commander Luke team, that might be a good foil for your General Skywalkers. Now, you obviously have to control your resources to some level. You're not exactly close to what you need for a Grievous shock team, but that's another option people I see a lot of, where you have IG-88 and Imperial Probe Droid and all that. You may have seen that lineup before. Another common one that's there to kind of work its way up the meta team, and the problem they always run into is the General Skywalker, where they just don't have a good solve for that. So we're leaving an era of roster diversity, which is a good thing. A lot of teams can get to the top. Only one team's the meta, but a lot of things can get there, and I think that's a fun time to be playing, especially in the arenas standpoint. And also, it's good to have that roster diversity for your grand arena as well. So having multiple capable teams to take out the enemy on offense can sometimes sway things for you. All in all, I mean, I can see you put a lot of time and effort into your roster. I don't, like I said, any criticism I have is just to take it from a great place where it's at to be that much greater. So I'm hoping in the end this helps you. I think if you can figure out how to get over that arena threshold, I think you'll be enjoying just about every element of this game. If you have any questions, I'll try to be a bit more available than I have been in Discord. I apologize it took me this long to get a video together, but I hope this works well for you. Anyway, until next time, this is Star Saber signing out.